Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks. Today taking a look at Hades Pawns. This is a really interesting map. I think we might have covered this map one time before in a different match, but I still absolutely love the design of this. You can see they've got these energy crystals out here with the varying sizes of energy crystal there. And then this map, they've got them in a shade of different colors. We've got some orange ones down south, green ones and some blue ones up north. Really liking the design of this map. I think it's quite nice with these little puddles here. I'm guessing that you can probably move bots through there. We'll see in a little bit here, but yeah, some really interesting choke points on this map. Going to be interesting to see how players control this. This is definitely one of those maps where everyone is on the front line, right? You're kind of, well, actually, I guess that's not true. There's like this position here, mirrored up north, and yeah, maybe that's not really true. There's some backline players here. Yeah, I guess Skag would be in a backline position. MBT would be in our backline position. And speaking of MBT, let's meet our team leaders. For our blue team here, spawning on the eastern side, our blue team leader, we have Mom's Boy Toy, player we've seen around quite a whole lot. Definitely going to be bringing out some interesting strats and spawning in this sort of backline position. So hopefully we see some really interesting stuff coming out of MBT. Spawning on the western side for our red team, we have red leader, Master Bell 2. Man to fear. We've all seen the comm drop videos where Master Bell 2 was not afraid to fly their commander directly into enemy airspace and absolutely devastate their bases. What a seasoned player, if anything, and I'm really excited every time I get a chance to watch a game with Master Bell inside of it. So yeah, I'm curious what the strategy is going to be here. The first thing that I notice, of course, is that this is a very flat map. There's virtually no terrain, and what little terrain there is very extreme terrain. So it's like completely flat and then hills. So what that screams to me immediately is vehicles. Go for vehicles, because they're not going to have that speed penalty. You're going to have a lot more health, and there also looks to be a pretty good amount of metal out and about on the map. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, but I guess we'll see here what everyone ends up going for. MBT just going for that tech, making sure to get the economy up and running. Addis, proving me wrong, says, screw you, Mr. Commentator. I'm going for as many bots as I possibly can. I can't hate it. I'm a tech addict as well, so I can only understand. I can sympathize. Neptunio and Iziriad both agree with me, though, and they're going to both be going for vehicle labs. Let's see, Dave TB going for those bots as well. I guess this position makes sense because you do have this hill to contest, and that's going to be a little bit harder to do with vehicles. Frosty not so concerned with it, though, going for that vehicle lab. Alberto with a bot lab, and Platis down here with a bot lab to round out the blue team. Looks like I think I'm going to give it to Addis. I think Addis got our first ticks out of the game. Very well done. Good, congratulations, Addis. You have the first ticks out on the game. Somebody was saying I should name some of the first units that come out. We'll call this Jeremy the Tick. I feel like that should be a Jeremy. Now, although it was the first one out, I doubt it will be the first one to make contact here, as Light Pink Mouse has sent out a couple of ticks. Five ticks are already headed towards Alberto and Platis' base, and Platis does not have any units on the field. Neither does Alberto, actually, so we are susceptible to tick harassment. Tick harassment is very micro-dependent, so there's never a guarantee that you're going to be harassed to death by a tick, but if you if you have the APM to spare and you are the one harassing, they can definitely get some work in. What are we looking at here? We've got bot lab, vehicle lab for Master Bell. We've got bot lab for Skag, vehicle lab for Jamal. LSR wielding a vehicle lab. A-Russ, player we've seen in another replay actually. A-Russ wielding a bot lab, and to round out the red team here with the hot pink player, we have a vehicle lab. Very nice. So we're going to have some interesting matchups here as a bunch of vehicle lab players go up against bot lab players. Pretty good mix, actually. I was expecting it to be much more vehicle intensive, but it looks like a lot of these players are much more addicted to the early game harassment, and I cannot blame him. Ooh, a little bit of a split mechs position going on here. Well done on MBT recognizing that and not building an entire metal extractor just for it to be attached to a metal point that is already taken. Easy thing to accidentally do. I was wondering why we went for the amphibious constructor, and then I looked in this pond, and indeed there are some metal spots underwater over here. Very nicely done. Looks like a metal extractor was sniped down in the bottom here. Man, these guys get to work so quickly. Missile truck brought out. That's actually a great counter to those early scouting rovers and rascals. It'll one-hit them and those missiles track, so it's really, really nice for shutting those down extremely quickly. Dave TB taking a missile from his own his own rocketeer, and it actually switched his weak point. You can see the armored spot was on this side, and his weak point was here, so that incisor actually did almost 20, or a little more than 20% damage. Yikes. Incisors should not be doing that much damage, especially to a commander, but that was just really unfortunate positioning there. In case anybody is wondering, there is flanking damage in this game, and that basically is just whenever an enemy gets hit from, or a unit gets hit from one side, the complete other side of the unit is then vulnerable. And if they get hit from that angle, they take almost 20%, or almost double damage. Almost, I think it's 90%. It's like 1.9x damage, something like that. Super, super powerful. You can see the little white bar, that's like the armored side, that's where they're taking less damage, and then this red bar is where they're taking more damage here. Dave TB pushing forward. He has the Rocketeers to siege down these defenses, but Master Bell has tons of these blitzes out now, and I definitely think we could expect to see a comm snipe here if those blitzes moved forward. This army doesn't really have the mass to stop those blitzes. They could hurt them. They could definitely hurt him, but I don't think they have the mass to stop him. Whoa, commander goes down up north here. Is this a trade? It was a trade. Who's left after the wreckage? Looks like, wow, the hot pink and the hot purple. The two hottest players decide to push in and trade out each other's comms. I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe there was a bit of an army scuffle. Ooh, it does let a bunch of these blitzes into the back line, though. Tons and tons of these blitzes from LSR managed to break through the front lines, and they're going to be a huge pain in the ass for both of these players up here. Azariad now forced to move the commander forward to try and actually deal with these blitzes, but there's probably enough blitzes here to kill the commander, I would reckon. That would be really painful. Are they going to get D-gunned? No. Wow, we missed. We managed to actually shoot the D-gun past most of them. Oh my goodness. Most of them go down, but there's still one in the back line. It manages to ignite all of these energy converters, and that really sucks. Light laser turret is up, but it cannot shoot all the way over there, and so we're going to have to waste a ton of APM cleaning up that mess. In the meantime, Russ has set up a big defensive perimeter right here, and we are already eating up all of the commanders. Actually, most of it's already been eaten up. That is excellently done there. Although the hot pink commander did go down, still milking out an advantage from the positioning there. Very, very nice done. On the southern front here, we have the forward vehicle lab. This has become a really, really popular move, is to build a forward vehicle plant when you're sieging these front lines, just to get those artillery out. And then you just keep producing pawns and maybe some ticks or something, and resbots, all that sort of stuff from your back line. Really, really popular play right now. And I think it's popular because it works. I think it's really, really powerful at sieging. And you know, whatever works is what's going to be played here. Probably the new meta. Just based on how often I see it anyways. You can see Dark Hunter doing basically the same thing. We have the vehicle lab coming up here, and then we have units streaming in from the backline, although we are going for maces, which is a bit interesting. Dark Hunter actually fully committing to this. I just noticed that they're reclaiming their entire bot lab back here, so we are going to be completely relying on this forward vehicle lab in order to produce. Platus has not made that sort of commitment. We are just building out of this bot lab back here very slowly. Very interesting to see. Now this is probably the shakiest part here for this blue team. The red team has got a positional advantage here. This line of units right here. That's the wrong key. There we go. Right here. This line, if this breaks, then this is going to be what sweeps this entire blue team from underneath, because this once this breaks, this leads right into the northern base here, and Izariad has basically kept themselves in a tech position here, and now they're forced to build up units, which means that the front line is mostly just being held by purple at the moment. So that's risky. This is also a tricky one. Addis is up against 2 players versus 1. So this army is waiting to hold while MBT gets some sort of an advantage out. MBT has done a phenomenal job of claiming all these metal extractors, which is quite nice. We're also building up a huge economy, but the wind production right now is so abysmal. Oh, yeah, we're definitely waiting on that wind to come back before we make any big pushes here. I would absolutely love to see some bombing. A lot of windmills on this map, I do notice. Master Bell, it's a lot of solar panels. We are going for some advanced ones, though, so I suppose it'll be all right. Just worrying me a little bit. We don't have much build power here. I'd love to see a construction turret pop down. Just get that 200 build power. It'd be very, very nice. We have some Janices, some Stouts, some Blitzes, all that good stuff here in the middle of the map to try and contest this pushing forward green army. Loads and loads of Blitzes are moving forward. Those Janices light up a few of them, but there's still a lot that make it through, and they're actually going to be a huge problem here. Taking out a light laser turret. Taking out a second light laser turret here. Nicely done. It's going to force this entire orange army to recall, meaning that this front line is going to be under heavy siege. Yeah, we can definitely take this advantage to ensure that the this front line does not grow anything, right? Blitzes have made it into the base, and they start targeting down the construction turrets, and that hurts pretty bad. And kill some incisors too, and they are eventually mopped up. But yeah, the construction turrets are down, which means is that Orange's production here is going to be quite a bit slower than it was just a minute ago, but that's all right. Need arty. We do indeed. We have a few artillery vehicles, but they're definitely not going to be enough for the moment. We need to see a waterfall of death as it is. Things are looking dire. Zeriad is pumping out units, though, and that's really good. It's very important. I'm looking for the weak points. This is one of them. This is really nice that we are still harassing this. Frosty's doing a really good job of making sure that we continue to harass through this opening here when these light laser turrets were taken down. Mostly just trying to snipe some of these mexes and get back into the production lines as well as we can. I would love to see these windmills chain reacted if possible. Yep, that'd be really nice. Oh, are we gonna get it? Oh, just barely we don't get it. That was super, super close. Another blitz has made it into the back line of LSR's base, though. And it is going to start shooting at wind turbines. Doesn't manage to get them. It does find a T2 production unit here, a T2 advanced construction worker. The construction worker fights back, rips it apart at a molecular level. Now, I cannot help but notice that we have a seaplane platform building in the pond, the backline pond. And we're going for some of these gunships, the Sabres. Very, very nice. Kind of an interesting play. But we haven't seen any sort of aerial shenanigans yet, so we're definitely in a decent position to do so. There's not a whole lot of anti-air defenses up and running at the moment. Not that I can see anyways. So I think these could definitely do a tremendous amount of work. Now, where do you want to use them is the question. I think doing a good job building up a big front of them, that's probably a good idea. They're pretty expensive. 210, 6,400 energy. Definitely very, very expensive here. A T2 commander, or rather a T2 construction worker. T2 commander. What is this, Legion? T2 construction worker was handed off to MBT here by Dave. Well done, Dave. Being that team player, really, really important. If you have the opportunity to give away construction workers, the T2 construction workers, you definitely should do so. 100% of the time, it is worth it. 100% of the time. That's a sentence. That's the sentence ever, and you can quote me on that. If you can get your team's economy up and running, it's just less work that you have to do, right? Because if you scale your economy, if you think about it, I'm gonna draw this right now. I'm just gonna draw over the game. If you think about your economy scaling up like this, it's exponential, right? The other team, they might have 2 economies that are scaling like this. So if you want to beat them, your economy has to be twice the size of both of these economies. So you have to do 2 times the amount of work as 2 people scaling their economies with you. So what that means is it's much better to give your I'll wipe this off the map now, and we'll track these gunships as they move in for the kill here. But if you want to scale your economy, it's much easier to scale your entire team's economy. Let your teammates scale their economy, and not worry so much about scaling your own economy, 2 times as much as the next lowest people or whatever, the next 2 lowest economies underneath yours. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say there. Basically, the point is be generous. Give away commanders, and you will be rewarded with teammates that have more metal than your team knows what to do with. These gunships have absolutely ravaged this base by LSR. Phenomenal work here. LSR's production is completely destroyed. We have a few of these construction workers still retreating, trying to get out of the line of fire here. But these Saber gunships have come out of left field and completely devastated not only LSR, I almost said LFSR, LSR, and Jamal as well. They've done a phenomenal job of that. We do see some trashers out now in order to devastate some of these units. Fighters are here as well, and so the defense is mounting rather quickly. These gunships, they don't have long for this world, so they must find something to attack very quickly. Find their way into this base. There's not enough of them to take down this fusion reactor, unfortunately. The swarmers are here, though. Also, let's talk about how I managed to select the second to last Saber to go down. I just chose one at random, but it just happened to be the second to last of these Sabers to go down here. The Saber is desperately trying to stop this anti-air turret from coming up by shooting down the construction turrets, which is pretty funny. Anti-air bots are brought in, and I think eventually this will be mopped up. The Saber does go down without being able to do any more damage on this backline here, but it did ravage LSR and Jamal quite heavily, who are going to have to spend maybe the next 4 minutes or so rebuilding all of their economy. They can resurrect a lot of this, of course, but that is still going to take quite a while. In the meantime, we are switching. We are not switching. We are going to keep producing these seaplane gunships. Nicely done. But at this point, yeah, you can see there's anti-air in basically everyone's base. Nobody wants that to be them. And so indeed, a lot of these players are going to be putting up anti-air turrets wherever possible. So I think any subsequent attacks are going to be much less effective here. We do see a gauntlet meant to stall this push a little bit, and it has done that. I mean, the artillery vehicle are threatened off of the front line here and forced to push backwards. This is a sort of a desperation moment, right? We are waiting for the T2 economy from Aziriad to be fully up and running so that we can get a proper T2 army up. But the hounds are already out for the red players here, for the hot pink player, and the hounds are moving in. If they're just going to stand there, the artillery is going to work on them very nicely. The Sheldons are, well, shelling away, and the hounds are slowly falling. Yeah, that was not the best management there. Can you T1 spam? Need C, but we can't. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you could T1 spam, but I think you're gonna need some way of seeing into this fog of war here. Get a spy bat out. Get a I don't know, something out that you can actually do. It looks like consoles were handed over. I'm not sure who originated this, but that's an excellent idea. Yeah, we don't even have a T2 lab up, so it was definitely someone else. Who's got a T2 Armada vehicle lab? Looks like it's Master Bell. That's a really popular strategy as well, a really effective one, I might add, is to, when you get a T2 vehicle lab out for Armada, what you do is you send every person a advanced construction vehicle and a console, because the console can build a lot of the really important T2 units. You can build gunslingers, you can build hounds, you can build those recluses, the rocket spiders. It can build a lot of those really important units, and so what you do is you essentially are giving people a T2 economy and the ability to produce T2 units without having to actually build an entire T2 production facility. And that's really, really powerful because it means they can upgrade their economies, but all of that money can just go straight into building an army, which is really, really nice. So I quite like that strategy a lot. Somebody commented about doing that down below, and all I could say was, correct. You're right. That is a great idea. You're absolutely correct about that. Well done. Persecutor coming up here on the front lines. This will be much, much better than this gauntlet is. Tremendous amount of firepower packed into this bad boy. As you can see by the AoE radius when this thing lands. Just devastating. Really, really oppressive piece of artillery work. Is there vision here, though? That's the problem. Yeah, there's jammer fields up, so we can't really see what we're actually shooting at. Which is a bit unfortunate. But the Persecutor is taking shots, and every time it connects, you can see it scuffs up a lot of those units here. Going to first person... Oh, that's not right. First person mode. Here we go. Let's get down. Let's get down in there. I go like this. This camera is really wonky to work, but it does give you some really cool angles sometimes. The Sheldon marching forward, firing on the hounds. Oh, the hounds are marching forward, ready to retaliate. Okay, let's pop out of here. Bombers come in right in time for the camera switch, and they do absolutely devastate a lot of that purple base right there. Dropping some more bombs here on his area. His commander gets dangerously low, down to 7% there. That was really, really risky. They come in now. They completely take away all of those construction workers. Coming in for a bombing run. I'd love to see them take down this T2 factory. That would be really, really devastating. What are we going for here? Got a couple of them working on these energy converters. I think that's too many. We only need 2 of those. Yeah, and a lot of them are switched over here to the bot lab. Energy converters go down. And that is quite nice. Blue team was completely unprepared for bombing despite having the first aerial aggression out. And that bombing run completely devastated Zariad. We do have some chainsaws out. Chainsaws and light anti-air turrets, which will eventually tear down a whole lot of these units. But at the time being, they're still being very devastating. This T2 lab is almost dead. It's really worrisome. But it looks like most of the bombers have been shot down by this point. Ooh. Okay, that was risky. Bomber almost collided and chain reacted all these windmills, but luckily for Mom's Boy Toy, that did not happen. Alright. Aziriad forced to rebuild now. He said, lol, stuck. Oh, the commander is stuck. How did that even happen? Somehow the commander has been stuck on this little hill right here and cannot move, so forced to build the bot lab right here. Lucky that he can build a bot lab here. There's certainly positions you can get stuck in where you can't build anything at all. And yeah, Aziriad suddenly is in charge of microing his units, right? That's the plan here. Mom's Boy Toy has hidden the commander right here in the middle of this pond. It's really funny. I mean, why not, right? Like, there's not a better, there's not a worse place for it. Wow, this is a lot of green hounds moving forward here. Looks like there's yes, a starlight out. I was gonna say that wasn't quite long enough to be a tachyon. Pulsar rather. Looks like a green commander went down here. Is that the light green or the dark green? I'm gonna guess based on the color of these units that was the dark green commander Platus. Going down right there. I'm not sure why. Maybe we were just accidentally pushed a bit too forward. Whatever the reason may be. We have an ambassador here. A stealthy rocket launcher, which is very nice. Stealthy, of course, meaning you can get a whole lot closer to a lot of this stuff than anything else. But I reckon you might be able to move this thing right up against this hill and maybe even launch rockets into this base right here, which would be really sweet. We're making sure to maintain a presence, though, and make sure that all these front lines are secured. As of right now, everything looks really nice and sturdy. Persecutor here, still shelling away in this direction. Looks like we're just dumbfiring here. It's unfortunately just barely not close enough to do a whole lot of damage. It does take down units slowly, though. It's that AoE that really kills these, because the construction turrets can repair one thing at a time really well, but they really, really struggle to repair a lot of things all at once. You can see the Rattlesnake, not nearly as effective as the Persecutor here, but I think it's a little cheaper. 2,500 versus, oh no, they're almost the exact same. They're identically the same cost. Range 1390, DPS of 359. Range 1380, DPS of 332. Interesting. Same cost, lower value. Save money, live better. Walmart. Hashtag not sponsored. That'd be hilarious, though. A Walmart sponsorship would be... I don't even know how I'd get that. There's not even a Walmart within 20 kilometers of me. EMP bomb here from a spy bot does mean that this bull and a whole contingent of these hounds are going to be caught lacking. Indeed, they are blasted down by hound-like fire. Ambassador here, being sure to be harassing, but taking a lot of fire from hounds, and I think this thing is not long for this world. Indeed, it falls. Every one of these units that falls down makes Master Bell's army here just look that much better. We do see the res bots on the front lines. They've been eager to eat up this commander this entire time. They've been really looking forward to that snack. And they finally get their grubby mitts on it, and they are happy to fold all of that directly back into the main army. Big contingent of fiends here trying to break through, but they were in a nice cluster, and that was some excellent micro here, making sure to split up the defending fiends, meaning that all those aggressive fiends were completely mopped up. Very nicely done. Now this is interesting. We've got MBT sending in some stealth tanks. There's a couple of landmines here, though, and those count as a unit, so they trigger these stealth tanks. Oh, yep, that hurts. You know, that's one interesting counter to stealth vehicles. You just put some landmines down. They're both stealth. It's not like they can see each other. They're accidentally going to run into the commander here. Stealth tanks are running out of pathways to go. They're completely revealed at this point. And the ticks jump on top of them, completely swarming these stealth tanks. And MBT runs out of options. Saw the vision, but unfortunately could not bring it to bear. There's a bedbug here. I wonder what we're going to do with it. We're waiting to use it, surely. I'd love to see a scuttle brought to the front lines. You can blow up these pulsars with some scuttles very nicely. That would be one tremendous use for them. Commander goes down here. Looks like that's going to be... Is it Otis's commander? Yeah, it looks like it might be. Yeah, Otis's commander going down here in the middle of the map. Very nicely done. Ooh, interesting. We've seen some amphibious tanks sweeping through the north of the map here. Aziriad in a whole lot of trouble, basically completely depleted at this point. We do have Resbots sent in from Purple to try and pick up all of this stuff that was just burned down. Very, very good teamwork there. But yeah, there are still some of these light tanks pushing forward into the back lines. We're going to have to see some response here. Lightning tanks, great option. Very, very fast. Going to be able to catch up with those light tanks and put them to rest. Brutal rest. Well, that one didn't get to rest. That one went straight to hell. That one was even worse. Got disintegrated. The front lines are broken, though. The hounds move forward. The grunts are supporting. They're the shock troopers, followed by the artillery support. Everything is collapsing all at once. For some reason, the Persecutor is not functioning. No pop-up tower today. Scorpion trying its best, but there's just too much overwhelming the Purple player here. And this is a really big mess. Purple holding on as best they can, and luckily this fusion reactor that was almost done, 85% of the way done, didn't get sniped. These construction towers didn't get sniped before reinforcing units could move up here and push all of that back. Very, very fortunate for that. I hear Razorbacks. There they are. Razorback out on the front lines now to harass down these T2 units. MBT in a nice position here. Looks like we might be moving in for the D-gun. Love to see that. What a Chad play. Tachyon accelerators, also very nice against the Razorbacks, of course. I'm not sure where that other one shot from. I think it was this one up here on the hill. Razorback will be pulled back in time, though, to be repaired by friendly facilities. We've got ticks moving forward. We've got blitzes covering everything here, and we've got stealth tanks rolling along. Oh, don't roll into that starlight. Oh, okay, we're planning to roll into that starlight. We are going to try and kill it. Stealth tanks do not fire very fast. We're gonna get it? Oh, we're not gonna get it. Ah, the snipe from the Tachyon Accelerator does manage to get that pick. Very nicely done. North is slowly recovering. Purple assimilating more and more of this base into themselves. becoming one with the base here. Resurrecting as much as they can and folding it back into their army. I think that's definitely very smart. Doing their very best to hold. This push down south, it looks pretty menacing, but we do have a lot of defending forces here, so I don't think this is going to be able to get a tremendous amount of value. These hounds up on the high ground are absolutely devastating. Yeah, they rain down fire from above, and a lot of these hounds down here are forced to retreat now. We do see a scuttle here. Unfortunately, it walked into a landmine. But that's really nice. I'm glad we're thinking about that. Those scuttles can be very dangerous. Alberto moving the commander in. Trying to get the snipe on this Razorback, I reckon. The D-gun snipe. Looks like we are going to get it. Or not. Huge amount of hounds moving forward, and I think we might be seeing a comm bomb here in the workings. Comm bomb in the making. There's not a whole lot out here for the dark green player Platis, so we're trying to keep them safe, but it's becoming harder and harder. Long-range plasma cannon was built, which is, I mean, does a lot of damage, but you know, it does a lot of damage every 20 seconds or so. Definitely less than ideal. A bull is out now, and this is actually doing quite a lot of work. These hounds are all grouped up, and that bull has some nice AoE on it, so it definitely does quite a lot of hurt. We have a Persecutor up here on the high ground that also does quite a lot of damage as well. So yeah, those hounds were actually pushed back, and we didn't even have to sacrifice the comm. That's really important here. Keeping these comms in very strategic positions. I like what MBT is doing with the comm here more and more, where we're keeping this in such a position that we can move in to intercept any T3 units before they become a real big problem, which is quite epic. Front line is drawn. Do we have any sort of backline shenanigans? Looks like that air lab, the amphibious complex, what are they called? Seaplanes, that's the word. The seaplanes were abandoned. We're just going to switch to some good old-fashioned unit production here. Another scuttle has been popped out of this production facility here, the T2 advanced bot lab for this Cortex player. Got to turn this on to hold fire, and we got to turn this invisible so that it doesn't accidentally detonate itself. Instead, of course, it cannot be seen. Somewhere out here we have the facility for detecting cloaked units, but I cannot find it. There it is, right here. Commander went down there. Looks like that was Master Bell 2's commander. Not sure what exactly it got sniped by, but whatever it was, killed it real damn quick. Maybe it was these long-range plasma cannons. Maybe these accidentally killed it. MBT accidentally becoming uncloaked there for a second. The commander is revealed. Master Bell 2 immediately responds, sees it so quickly, and realizes what's actually trying to happen here. We're trying to snipe some of these T3 units with the commander. Very cheeky play. Very well done. Bombing run coming out here, and these are the heavy hitters. Heavy strategic bombers coming out, and these can completely reduce a base to ashes. So let's take a look here. I think I know their target. And lo and behold, let it be known that all should fear when the bombers are near. MC Brightworks. Wow, the bombers even get an advanced fusion reactor over there. It does blow up a whole lot of them, though, which is quite unfortunate. Still enough here to ravage this base. Luckily, they don't get these construction turrets, but that must have been pretty scary. Dave is now on the recoiling foot here, trying to rebuild, but at the same time, a counter-strike was launched here in the southern hemisphere. As we see, Maw's base has been completely ravaged. Now it's up to these hero Razorbacks to prevent this push from moving any further forward. Very, very excellent defensive option here, because they can mop up those grunts with so much efficiency. A scuttle has been brought out, and it blows apart that Razorback. Not sure if that was self-destructed or if it just friendly fire or detect fired, but either way, it worked phenomenally. At this point, scuttle is detected. Or it was detected. I'm not sure where the facility is for detecting those units. Interesting. Either way, scuttle kept in the bath right here, just to make sure that we have it if we need it. I think these things can definitely blow apart a low health Razorback. I'm not sure exactly how much damage. I'd love to see it attack one of these Razorbacks just for scientific purposes. Yeah, move it in. Oh, great snipe there from the Vanguard, who actually does manage to kill that thing, even though it was completely cloaked. Very nicely done. So we've got some bombers moving in here. The fighter screen, acting like a de facto scanner as well as a fighter screen. Long-range plasma cannon is targeted down. And yeah, I think that's probably as good an effect as you could hope for here. There's not a whole lot of explosive reactants here, although how big of an explosion does this produce? Oh wow, I'm completely wrong. Yeah, that's actually a tremendous explosion. I didn't realize how big that explosion radius was on these hardened energy storages. Okay, so we could explode that. That would be worthwhile, probably. On a macroscopic scale, north looks a little bit shaky for the blue team, and south looks a little bit shaky for the red team, although south does have these T3 units out and about already, so I would say it's probably looking a little bit better than the northern side is. The gantry is up for MBT. We have 2 advanced fusion reactors, which is usually about enough to run a gantry, as well as a couple of energy converters. Yeah, we're making all the right moves here. Everything I would expect out of MBT. Very, very seasoned player here. Also, can we just give a huge round of props to Azariad for sticking in this game to the very end here. This poor fellow's base has been blown apart like 6 different times. Neptuni has been left with nothing. Neptuni was the purple player up here and has been left with basically nothing. Wouldn't mind seeing them ask for a construction or something, some sort of turret to get them back into this game. I think that'd be really nice. A couple of Marauders down here. I wonder if we're thinking about running them by this direction. There are a few of these pit bulls, the pop-up Gauss cannons. By a few, I mean plenty. There's 4 of them, which I think is probably enough to take down these Marauders. It's probably not enough to stop them, though. So if they just ran by, we might actually see it. We might actually see a nice little play there. Razorbacks managed to break through here, and there is not a whole lot to stop them in this part of the map. Dave moving the commander forward, probably going to try and snipe them. I think that's probably your best bet here, because these things are just going to keep marching. And they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming. We have some scuttles here. Decent option as well. Very expensive option. Commander does go down eventually. Frosty's is here as well to repel a bunch of these. Self-destruct. Yes, we did self-destruct it. Wonderful. Self-destructing those does so much more damage, which means that you're going to get way more value out of those things, and you absolutely need it because it's a suicide bomber. You need to get as much value out of it as possible because, you know, it can only attack once. These Razorbacks are looking a lot weaker. This one's down to 16%. This one's down to 30%. Things are not looking great. The Marauders are even pulled to deal with these Razorbacks that are breaching to the front lines here. There are friendly Razorbacks up north for the blue team here, but these red Razorbacks have marched in, and this one is looking pretty unstoppable at the moment. Definitely becoming a tremendous problem for this team here. It finds the lone advanced fusion reactor back here, but it decides to self-destruct. Interesting. You know, I really think that we probably could have seen that do a little bit more damage. I think that might be a little bit of an early self-destruct, but who's to say? At this point, these blue Razorbacks up north have fended off the push that was moving in from this direction, and at this point we are even pushing back a little bit. Razorback's a pretty good option against basically any unit here. The Bulls are really tanky, so it is going to take these Razorbacks a minute to break through them. One of the Razorbacks getting dangerously low. It does go down. Our firepower is suddenly reduced by a fourth. Units consistently streaming through here, though. We're just doing a T1 spam provision, which I think is fine. We're going up against hounds, which means that we can always kite against them using these Sheldon, which is very, very nice. And this area is getting really, really dangerous. Yeah, these shield projectors are going to definitely be a pain for any kind of plasma artillery that is trying to fire on anything over there. These grunts have not been contested, though. They're basically just running past. The hounds were mopping them up originally, but at this point they are not. Wow, some bombers take out Mom's Boy Toy's commander right in the middle of the map. Always odd when you see those snipe a commander. Oh, a whole lot of them were grouped up right there, and they get shot down by a single... Ooh, they still managed to get it, though. They were shot down by a single flak turret, but they still managed to just barely mop up the advanced fusion reactors for Frosty, who is now sent all the way back to the Stone Age. Power production down to 300 a second from a few lowly windmills, and that hurts badly. I think the red is pressing in a significant advantage here. Look at all these marauders marching through the depths, ready to pop out on this side and ambush all of these construction workers. They were ready to build some defenses, but they were not on top of it quick enough. As soon as the Scorpion starts up, it gets completely destroyed by, how many marauders is that? 20 marauders. Absolutely devastating, and they're getting right into the back line here. These Razorbacks are forced to retreat. Yeah, you need to bring these back to deal with the marauders, so this front line is about to lose a whole bunch of firepower, meaning that these artillery units can push in a little bit further. Marauders contending with some Scorpion batteries, but I think there's well more than enough of them to deal with it. There's also all of those energy converters which go up like a Christmas tree, leaving this base in absolute tatters. Marauders getting extreme value here, and they are into the back line of Mom's Boy Toy. I think this is the end for our blue player. Marauders marching in. Look at them go. Look at all the spectators watching. You can see them all there on the floor, watching all the action here. This is definitely where the eyes should be, because the Marauders are tearing apart the last remaining high-tech player for the blue team. T3 gantry getting pretty low, but it does manage to survive. The Razorbacks clean out most of the Marauders, although there is still quite a few moving forward. The middle of the map has been completely ravaged, and things are looking dire for the blue team. Bombers are continually harassing this down, and indeed, MBT decides to tap out at this point. His units becoming hollow and soulless. The entire north has now caved. They've all resigned. Resigning their fates quite literally to the hands of the red team. And the Marauders continue to march. Remember, these Marauders came from all the way up north. All the way up north, and they managed to make it all the way down here to harass the green economy. What an excellent play. What an outstanding play by Amir there. Wonderfully done. Definitely chose the right unit, chose the right angle of attack, chose the right timing, and I think has absolutely won the game for their team. This advanced fusion reactor going up will be the last hope that anyone has of any kind of economy. And now that it's out, the blue team is looking quite dire. The Razorbacks can push in essentially for free here. There's not a whole lot to contest these at this point. We had a whole lot of bombers here, but at this point, a bunch of T1 bombers are probably not going to cut it. We do have some fighters out, and these are T2 fighters. So these bombers are not going to get much done, especially considering there's no more economy to support any of this. Now, where are our remaining commanders? There's one up north here. There's Frosty's commander right here, and there's Alberto, who's right here, who I think is probably not long for this world, as snipers and Razorbacks manage to take them out. Bombing down a bunch of snipers, that's probably a pretty good move, actually. The snipers are pretty slow and definitely susceptible to bombing. But yeah, the fighters, the red team fighters do manage to push in here. Commander up north goes down. The vote failed for GGing out. That's kind of interesting. I think this is definitely the point where you call it. Frosty not willing to accept it, though. Never accepting defeat. On one hand, an excellent virtue. On another hand, everyone's waiting to play the next game. That's why no GG. Maybe some complaining happening in spec chat. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. You know, I don't really pay attention to that. Too much going on all over the map here. Razorback breaks into the back line here of El Barto, tearing down even more economy. We are not looking good here, folks. Not one bit. Not for the blue team. The red team doing phenomenally to surround all this and just start dismantling every single piece of the blue team's economy, one structure at a time. At this point, Platis, who is no longer... Well, we do have a little bit of a production here on the middle of the map. But basically nothing left. And is just holding on by the threads. We do take for the team... Sorry if you just heard a vibration there. Just forgot about the phone sitting on my nightstand. And indeed, the blue team does. And it does end up going down. They do hit that resign button, fighting to the very last man. Very well done. And congratulations to our red team. Master Bell 2. Wow, look at that efficiency. 1.32. That's really, really nice. That means your micro is basically on point. Emir doing phenomenally as well. Getting a lot of value out of those Marauders, though. And definitely winning the destroying enemy resource production. I think they swept away one. There was 1, 2, 3, 4... At least 4 bases. Might have been more. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This has been an excellent game, an excellent high-skill game of Beyond All Reason. And I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day.